Citizens, is that time. You are officially in the incinerator. Welcome to another night of another episode of Midnight Madness. I'm the Wizard Uncle James. I would love for you guys and girls to become active citizens. Y'all already know how to do that. Shout out to everybody because this is a worldwide movement. I'm gonna give y'all a couple minutes to get in here. This is another surprise episode of Midnight Madness, and so I give everybody a couple minutes to get in here. Um, as you come in, make sure you hit the likes button. That helps with the algorithm. Definitely. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share this stuff. We had 2,405 people. Let's get it up to 2,500 by Monday. By the start of next week, let's get this channel up. We're close to working out possibly a couple of sponsorships. So I've been working behind the scenes on some things. I'm waiting to hear back from some people. Definitely. Shout out to everybody because this is a worldwide movement. Definitely. So it is midnight here in Iowa, Central Time Zone. So we got Midnight Madness. We got two wonderful people, and make sure you hit the likes button, even if you don't get to catch everything. Make sure you hit the likes button when you come in. Also, we would love your support on viewing the content that's already up. And if you haven't caught any of our live streams here, go back and catch up on the live streams. As always, if you don't agree with something on here, you can let me know and we can talk about it. I just ask that you be respectful. So I give everybody a couple minutes to get in here. I'm sorry, I'm so busy peeking at this game. At the 5 minute mark, we usually get to the meat and potatoes of the subject. So I'm watching this G League game, the Clippers and the Nuggets here. Turned out to be a barn burner, but like I said, shout out to everybody because it's a worldwide movement. I hope everybody is all right wherever you are. We're gonna follow suit. I was going to do Midday Mania. I just decided against it because I was actually outside. So, hello, what's going on? ZH Horizon and the other person there. I can't see your name. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. All right, you're saying we got 24 people in here. If we really got 24 people in here, all y'all make sure y'all hit that likes. Oh, I can't call it. It's that Max. Okay. Your name is Peyton. Okay, what's going on, Peyton? I can't call it, man. Just thought that I would do something dedicated to one of the unsung heroes in my life that actually gave me some really good gun advice. And that's who this dedicated to. This Midnight Madness episode. You guys will see it in the description. All right, we down to 9 people. Make sure you hit the likes button. That 24 that was in here, get on back up in here and hit that likes. When you come through, hit the like button. And what the like button does is okay. All right, appreciate you. Definitely. Like Denver done blew the game. But yeah. So this is gonna be dedicated to, it's 2A related, and it's gonna be dedicated to somebody that I've held near and dear to my life, even though I haven't seen him in years. All right, we up to 5 likes. We got 18 people up in here. 10 people, I'm sorry. Make sure you get the likes in. No, that's okay. It happens. You gotta leave, that's fine. I appreciate you stopping through. All right, well, just catch us on a replay. You gotta leave. I understand. Like I said, it was an impromptu live. Uh, I didn't have plans on actually doing Midnight Mania because I didn't think I would be up this late. Midnight Mania, so I mean Midnight Madness. I'm sorry. Let's go ahead on and get into the meat and potatoes of this. So, if you guys and girls seen in the title, I'm dedicating this to Mr. Malone. He was what they call a school resource officer, or back in the days we called a truancy officer, or what have you. When I was in middle school, I went to Carter G. Woodson, uptown on Ferret Street, on Ferret and Third. For those my New Orleanians, Ronald Barnett was our principal. Uh, Me and him had like a Sam's Joe Clark relationship. I didn't smoke crack or none of that, but he called me by last name all the time. Why aren't why aren't I answering any of these? I said thanks for coming back in. Apparently you're not listening, but let me go ahead on and get into the stream. What everybody tuned for. So for those of you who've been with the other channel when I was High Alert TV, and that's been with this channel, the Alert Zone TV, I've told this story, but I wanted to dedicate this to not only Mr. Malone, but guys and girls like him, the unsung heroes that maybe don't get mentioned. Um, we have a very complicated relationship with law enforcement where I'm from. We're not anti-justice. We're not anti-law enforcement. We're just pro-justice. That's all. We just want them to do their jobs the right way. With that being said, I'll tell you guys this story. So I remember one time we was in the gym. I was in 8th grade, and me and some guys was talking about guns and what have you. We had the school resource officer, Mr. Malone. Mr. Malone would come in the gym and shoot basketball with us and stuff. He had his little 38 on his hip, and what have you. And he's a really funny guy. We just chit chat with him, and we learned so much from him. So we was having a conversation about guns one night, and he was talking about how do you point a gun. So one of the guys I was sitting on the bleachers with did like that. He said, and pull the trigger. So he was doing like that. And it was Mr. Malone who taught me when I was in the 8th grade the importance of you hold a gun like this and like this so you can control it. I was 13 years old. I'm 45 now. That has stuck with me to this day. To Mr. Malone, he was a security guard at Carter G. Woodson back in the early 90s when Ronald Barnett, Miss Hagan, and all them was the administrator. If you or your family ever see this, I'm shouting you out, man. I really, really appreciate you having them conversations with us about firearms. A school resource officer taking time out of his day to talk to us. He never told us don't be into firearms, and I respect that about him. He always told us if you're gonna be around them, understand how to work them, and think about if you ever pull a gun, use the gun properly so that you hit your target and that you defend your life. You protect yourself first and you look good second. You don't have to shoot one-handed to protect yourself. That was something that stuck with me. Excuse me, like I said, to this day. I know school resource officers, a lot of them get the bad raps. A lot of them earn them bad raps. But I really, really enjoyed being around Mr. Malone. And, like I said, just soaking up that game from somebody who had to go down and qualify, somebody who carried a firearm every day. I mean, he be playing basketball and his little firearm be in his holster and clipped, so it don't come out. And, man, we would have a good time with him. But he would always talk to us about firearms and firearm safety and then getting something that you feel comfortable with and what have you. And the main thing he taught us was about the proper technique. I want everybody, especially younger people that's just getting into protecting themselves legally, take that advice. If you got to pull your firearm, try and have it where you can control your aim. and you can do it properly. Practice using your firearms the right way. Now, I understand sometimes a fight or a criminal can break out from anywhere and you may not have the chance to hold and do like this, but practice that. Man, that's one of the greatest pieces of advice, one of the greatest lessons I got from this whole Second Amendment thing, because it kept me level headed as I started getting older about when I'm going out, making sure when I shoot, I got both hands instead of one hand and all that turning the gun sideways. When they would let us shoot for New Year's and stuff in New Orleans, yeah. If you at a shooting range just having fun, yeah. In a real life scenario, that explains why so many innocent people got hit. Doing all this craziness and shooting a gun one handed, and when you pull the trigger, the bullet going up in the air or the gun going this way or what have you. So I just thought that I would talk to everybody about that, and to the school resource officers that's doing your job the right way, that's doing it down the middle. That's what we loved about Mr. Malone. He got along with all the students, but he did his job right down the middle. Even when sometimes guys would try and clown him about having a revolver, he would tell them, and if a gunshot go off around here, y'all gonna be proud to hear that revolver because I'm gonna be cutting back at they behind. Um, what's going on, Carl Singleton? I'm just talking about Mr. Malone, um, a school resource officer that I'll never forget. Um, for my last 2 years in school, he was a school resource officer, and just the things he taught me about firearms at the school. We never touched his gun. Before anybody freaks out, we never touched his gun and none of that. But he would talk to us about that, and those lessons have stayed with me to this day. And I left Carter G. Woodson in 1993, and it's 2025, and I still remember Mr. Malone and all the teachings that he gave us and all the wonderful advice that he gave us about firearms back then, and I still apply those to my everyday life. I got the echelon sitting next to me. I can't show it on camera because I'm doing a live stream. YouTube would thank me for it. But I just thought that if you're a school resource officer, what's going on? Tactical busy. I just thought that I wanted everybody to know, and I wanted to put it out there about Mr. Malone. That's why I put his name. I never knew his first name. Um, I don't even know if Mr. Malone is still alive. If he's still alive and he ever see this, shout out to you, brother. I never forget you. I'll never forget you. The time you took out not only to shoot hoops with us, like I said, but to talk to us about firearms and to talk to us about some of our life decisions. Even though I got into things, I still carry that with me, and I carry that with me to this day. From time to time, I might mention you. I might mention you and what have you, but I want people to know a part of my journey was learning from a school resource officer. And like I said, just the way different things he talked about, keeping your gun clean, when you get old enough to start carrying a gun, trying to avoid certain situations and things like that. And I'm living to talk about it. 30 years later. All right, we got Dr. T in the house. Y'all make sure y'all go subscribe to Dr. T's channel. But it just 30 years later, and that message is still with me. Not only do I want to encourage people in law enforcement that come into contact with the youth, I want to encourage you as a law-abiding citizen. If they'll listen, just talk to them. I know kids don't do everything we tell them to do, but you never know. You never know the impact that you make on these children when it comes to firearms, because this is America. I tell people this. I don't care if you live in the hoodest, poorest, if you live in Appalachia, and for those of you who've never been in Appalachia, you want to know what fucking poverty is, go to Appalachia. Y'all don't even see them on fucking TV. That's how bad they are there. Yeah, all up until the Hamptons. If you live in the Hamptons, in America, there's more guns than there are people. Your children are going to learn about firearms. There's one of two ways they can learn it. You can teach them, or have somebody that's professional give them advice and guide them, or the streets can teach them. If the streets teach them, they're going to wind up killing somebody, and they're going to wind up in jail for robbery or playing Russian roulette or some kind of craziness. So you're not going to ever escape. If you come across this video, even if you don't believe in the Second Amendment, if you think your child won't ever run across guns in their life, you're an idiot and you're a fool. You're setting yourself up for fucking disappointment. And I mean those words exactly like I said. You may not like firearms, but I'm telling you, if you do not think eventually your kid is gonna run across a firearm, you're an idiot and you're a fool. And you'll be one of the people running around here talking about, I never knew my child was into that. Or where does he get a gun from? It's America. It's guns everywhere. Like I said, if it's not gonna be somebody in your family, one of their friends can get a hold of a gun. You can learn it the right way. The streets can teach you. It's just that simple. So, like I said, for all the experiences I had with people that's in law enforcement in that realm of work, man, Mr. Malone just really looked out for us, and I'm just really appreciative. Part of his talking to and part of his guidance when we was in school is why I'm still able to be alive and even talk about this. Because it made me think about live and let live sometimes. Sometimes you just gotta live and let live. Because you're right, it's not always worth dying over. Sometimes you can be right and just let the other person feel right just to avoid a catastrophe. And you know what? That is something I took with me out in the street, and it kept me alive. Everything wasn't always about physical retribution. Sometimes you just had to sit back, live and let live, because if this person was as horrible as they are, you'll let somebody who ain't got nothing to lose deal with them, and they'll be the ones to put them out of their misery. Sometimes you have to live like that. So if you're a school resource officer, definitely engage with the kids at the school the right way. Understand, sometime we're going to challenge y'all. Sometime y'all going to talk to us about firearms and we're going to tell you, nah, that's not how that go. Especially if you're around middle school and high school kids, because that's boys. That's just how we are. We're developing and we'll go off what we see or what have you. And sometimes it takes that little bit of guidance and that little bit of knowledge to get you straight. And that has kept me protected. I've never went to the gun range and thought I was too good to use both hands, even before I broke my arm. I ain't got no choice now, but shooting one-handed has never really been a big thing for me. I guess because I never had the opportunity to just get into shooting one-handed. I always shot with two hands most of the time. You know, like I said, a 25 Larson was the first gun I ever shot, and my uncle, rest his soul, was holding my hand while I was pulling the trigger. So I had somebody holding my hand, you know. And of course, you know, it was like this. So definitely that's what that was. I just thought that I would come through and talk to everybody about that and tell everybody how important it is to sift through the information that we give you. I don't think there's nobody that does GunTube that's really passionate about the Second Amendment that's giving bunk advice out here. Sometimes we may have differences about some things. There, we may have differences about some things. We may not all agree with each other. But nevertheless, we basically give you what you're going to get when you go in a concealed carry permit. When you go to take these safety courses, you have to physically do it, but you tune in the GunTube. It's a whole genre of people talking about all different aspects of firearms. You know, they have those of us like me that say as long as you can pass a background check and do the proper paperwork, I don't give a damn who you are. You should be allowed to carry, um, and you should be allowed to carry what you want. And then there's people who believe in certain restrictions. I'm not gonna say I agree with them, but we could agree to disagree. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to safety and the technique to protect yourself, I think we all agree on that. And we don't agree on nothing else. We agree on having two hands and having a firearm that you're comfortable with, not something you see somebody else with because they're comfortable. Because what works for me may not work for you, which is why anytime I take anybody to a shooting facility with me, and usually I try and take multiple guns, multiple calibers, so they can see what makes them feel good, what they're comfortable with. I try and give them a compact and a full size. Most people that I've taken to the range, once they shot a full size, they wanted to put the compacts down. Me myself, I'm not a real big fan of compact firearms, and then micros. Uh, I do have a pocket rocket, my 45 ACP, my Smith& Wesson 2.0, and I bought that specifically for one reason and one reason only: movie theaters and grocery stores. It's more than enough to get me out of the door. That's all that's for. It's not to get in a firefight. Oh, 2025, a different business. A different business. We got Well Dressed Tactical in the house. Appreciate you, brother. But yeah, I'm just talking to them about Mr. Malone, man. Mr. Malone taught me some things about firearms, and it's helped me throughout my life's journey, and I just wanted to give him his flowers. I don't know if he's still breathing. If he is, shout out to you. If you've already left the planet and gone on the glory, as we say in the community, rest your soul, man. If his family ever see this, I want y'all to know I never forgot Mr. Malone. I never ever took it for granted that we had a school resource officer that really cared about us like that. He could have been walking the halls. He could have been harassing us. He could have been hemming us up on the wall, and yet he took time out to come sit down and talk to us. And I don't mean like the teacher brought him in. He would just come in the gym. Or he would see us in the hallway. He would see us in the cafeteria, and people would just chop it up with him, and we would get a lot of game from him. So I really just wanted to do this to shout him out, man. I let him know, and let everybody out there in the alert zone and what have you know that I appreciate people giving me knowledge to help protect myself and help forward my life. You guys and girls know I always shout y'all out. Whether you hear or on other channels, I go in the comment sections. I learn a lot from y'all. Yes, we not, like I said, we not gonna all agree, but I learned a lot from y'all. When y'all come on this channel and talk to me, y'all experiences, what have you, I learned a lot from y'all. So that's why I do this. I think about my family have to be outside with you one day. You may have to defend yourself, and I would love for my family to be in a situation where the person defending himself actually knows how to use that firearm, and my family doesn't catch a stray bullet. As I tell you guys, I carry what makes me real comfortable and what I'm real good at, because if I ever had to defend myself out in public, your family may be out there. And I don't want to shoot nobody innocent. I don't want to have more than I can handle in a situation that it calls for having something you can handle, and I wind up hurting somebody, the wrong person. I got that 454. I've taken it in the woods a couple times. I ran to the convenience store a couple times. I've never carried the thing, just because besides in the woods, I've never carried it out in public. Like, I'm gonna have this with me all day, and it's gonna be the only thing I'm gonna have because it's too big for me. I always wanted a 454, and I found one. I want a 6-inch barrel, but that's neither here nor there. But back to the subject, like I said, I just thought that I would get out here and shout Mr. Malone out. Just If somebody gonna teach you something, take that advice from them. Sometimes we get caught up in we don't like the messenger, that we don't take the message. And when I say don't like the messenger, I don't mean because the messenger is talking to us in a tone or with words we don't like. Sometimes we just don't like what the messenger look like or who it is. Sometimes you got to learn how to separate the messenger from the message. And that'll stay with me until the day I leave this planet. That Mr. Malone would do that. He had a he had a very very good reputation amongst us in the community. Um, by the time I got to the 11th grade, yeah. Well, okay, thank you. I appreciate you. Yeah, by the time I got to the 11th grade, we had two NOPD officers that was school resource officers, and they was fucking dickheads, man. I didn't care for them. One of them, Foxworth, had that big old loud mouth, and his partner, Sheepek. Sheepek thought he was fucking Pac-Man off Colors. That's what Sheepek thought he was. He was living out his little fucking Colors fantasy, walking around Sarah T. Reed. So I didn't care for him. And Foxworth, that fucking loud mouth. You can hear him before you fucking see him. The loudest one in the damn hallway and the damn wrongest. Um, but like I said, I always give credit where credit is due. You guys know here in the alerts on TV, we try and call it right down the middle. I try not to be biased. I know I give the Glock fanboys a hard time. I'm just giving y'all a hard time, man. At the end of the day, like I said, Glock is like a Tonka truck. When you pick it up and pull the trigger, it's gonna go bang. Just like when you took a Tonka truck and threw it off the second or the third floor, and you went down the stairs and grabbed it and started pushing on it, all it did was roll up the street and didn't give you no shit. And that's what Glock is. It's ugly. They all look alike. There's nothing exciting, nothing cute about them. They just there when you need them. So I just give like I said, I just give the Glock fanboys shit. But you know, throughout the years with the internet, we've been hearing these horror stories of the school resource officers beating kids up, slamming kids, and all. About the most that we've ever had with school resource officers, yeah, the most we ever had with school resource officers was back in the ninth grade when I used to cut class a lot. Yeah, they used to call me and two of my friends, they called us the Cut Kings. And we would have to run from, when they would have the lockdowns and shit. We'd have to run from the damn school resource. Half the school was condemned, so half the school we couldn't fucking go in. But we know where all the hiding spots was. And I'll tell you what, I'm 5'4", 5'3". I've always been a short fella. Being short has its advantages because I was able to hide in places other people couldn't. Comfortably, too. One thing about being short is you ain't got to worry about hitting your fucking head on nothing. If you hit your head on something at my height, you know something is really wrong. So that's something I don't never have to worry about, in theory, So when I went to Booker T, we had pretty good school resource officers. They did their job. They knew we were running from them and stuff like that. I can't recall seeing too many of them or seeing any of them ever actually getting into a fist fight. I know they had to break up several. But yeah, it was when I got to middle school was Mr. Sibley. We used to call him Eastside. When I got to the 6th grade in Carter G. Woodson, he used to wear the blazer. Like what the hell? One of y'all Lean On Me fans. What the hell was Joe Clark's head of security? Tony Todd, the one who played as Candyman. I forget his name in the movie. But Mr. Sibley had his little jacket and shit. We used to call him Eastside, man. And he passed, man. couple weeks after school started, my sixth grade year, the teachers went on strike, and they had that teacher strike. And once the teachers came back to work and everything got back to normal, man, Mr. Sibley passed away on East Side. That was when I first started having school security, and by Mr. Malone came, and boy, Mr. Malone was a diamond in the rough, man. Mr. Malone was a really good dude, and anytime I have positive interactions with law enforcement, I don't mind talking about it. Like I said, I'm not anti law enforcement. I'm just pro justice. I say, do your job the right fucking way. If you can't do it the right way, quit or get your fucking ass locked up and go to jail. It's just that simple. I don't expect no fair treatment, but I don't expect to be mistreated either. But yeah, and you know what I'm saying? So the school resource officer, y'all probably have had interactions with them. I don't know if anybody out there has had the interactions we had with Mr. Malone, but I just thought because this platform is growing, even if I only had 2 subs to this channel, as long as I've been doing this, I think it's just only right for me to acknowledge the good that has happened to. I can't make everything always be. I can't always get on here and everything just be making people sweat and worry about protecting themselves. I have to think about when people get out here and they do the right thing and they do things like that to big them up, because sometimes it can be depressing being that line of work with the reputation people behind badges have. And I just wanted Mr. Malone and anybody that's a school resource officer that does the right thing to know you guys and girls, people may not shout y'all out, but y'all impact us. And for those of you who impact us in the positive way, I think more of us should step up and at least acknowledge that. And I'm acknowledging Mr. Malone. That was one thing that stuck with me. You hold a gun like that. Now I grab a little bit up here, but you guys and girls get the concept. Because he was holding a whole revolver back then. But he always talked about that. He gave us the whole instructions of you don't pull a gun you don't plan on using. Make sure that it's a situation where it's dire, all that stuff like that, that I learned with Mr. Malone long before I ever went to firearm safety course. So I'm gonna open up the floor for a couple minutes. Anything anybody else want me to address? Hold on. Yeah, I'm live streaming. Anything anybody want me to address? By the way, we got 7 wonderful people is showing, and we got 7 likes, so that's good. Shout out to everybody because this is a worldwide movement. This is another episode of Midnight Madness. This is a special dedication to School Resource Officer Mr. Malone. I appreciate you, brother. Like I said, if you've already gone on to glory, rest your soul. If you're still alive, if any of his family ever see that, I just want y'all to know Mr. Malone was the epitome of what a school resource officer should be. He was always fair with us. Even when we was wrong, he brought the hammer down on us and we respected him enough to take it. So I just thought that I'd do a little something to dedicate to him and to people like him because they don't always get their flowers. But I want you to know, if you've been around somebody in your life that has helped you, giving you priceless advice, you can acknowledge them. It's okay to say, hey, yeah, so-and-so taught me this, and it's something that I might always carry with me because it helped me keep alive on my journey, So, how about you guys and girls? Anybody have any similar stories? I'm pretty sure some of y'all have some horror stories, because we all do. But I just wanted to talk about Mr. Malone, man, and just let you guys and girls know that he was one of the people real young. And I got to actually do it in practice because, like I said, in New Orleans, we were able to shoot for New Year's. So imagine New Year's night, I'm out there firing a gun. I think it would be to everybody's benefit for me to fire it and control it the right way. So I would test that theory out when it would come New Year's time. Or different adults we know would take us out certain places to shoot. Yeah, yeah, you know what, Dr. T, I really, really, I reminisce a lot about the days. But sometimes I do it because it make me think about some of the people that I crossed paths with that I think went above and beyond. Mr. Malone, I know being a school resource officer probably didn't pay a lot of money. I don't know. I'm just saying, it probably didn't. But for him to go above and beyond and for him to not say, hey, I don't get paid to talk to them like that. I'm just going to do what I get paid to do. For those of you who work around children, I don't care how bad the children are. I don't care how bad the neighbor. Some of us really, really do appreciate what y'all do. I know we don't say it. That's why I take the time out from time to time. I talk about Mr. Malone. I've done it on Gun Freak Nation, as a matter of fact. Shout out to T Electric. I've told the story about Mr. Malone on Gun Freak Nation. Um, I've also taken the time out to talk about Officer Holloway, rest his soul. He was one of the community police officers when I lived in the Florida Project in New Orleans. And Officer Holloway, if 75% of law enforcement in this country was as honorable as that man, you wouldn't have all the problems you have in this country with law enforcement. That man was what a law enforcement officer should be, to the point where some of the biggest dudes in the neighborhood, as far as their drug status and what have you, showed that man the utmost respect. You know, I saw it on TV when he had his life taken from him. They did a visual at his house. I think his mom's house or whatever, and there was so many people out there. Stone Cold Killers was out there crying because that guy went above and beyond. My oldest two children, I'm sorry, was in elementary at the time, and I remember he would just follow the kids home after school to make sure nothing didn't happen to nobody. He did his job right down the middle like we asked it. He had the utmost respect, and Mr. Malone is in that category. Mr. Malone did his job down the middle, and he went above and beyond. And I just think that it would be a good thing for me to always make sure from time to time when I talk about my upbringing, when people ask me about how did I get into firearms in my journey, that I mention it, especially Mr. Malone, because we directly talked about firearms on several occasions, and I've never forgot none of those interactions with him. And I just think that that's a beautiful thing, you know. I wish more people would, if you're not gonna teach your children, let somebody you trust teach your children the proper etiquette with firearms. Because I'm telling you, your child is gonna be around guns one day. Wouldn't it be nice for your kid to be in school with a kid that has a gun that shouldn't? And they do what they need to do and take the steps knowing that a gun can take people's lives and you don't come back from it? Wouldn't it be a good thing for them to go report to the proper authorities so we can thwart some of these damn school shootings? Because the majority of these school shooters, everybody already know what they are and what they're going to do. The hood, all that other stuff, you know. I just think that it would be beneficial that everybody just teach your children about firearms or send them somewhere. Take your children when they 11, 12, 13 years old, whatever state you live in, take them to the hunter safety course and let them go out there and go to that youth hunter safety course, because they teach them about firearms young. That's a real good thing to send to your children to if you don't want to do it. Somebody will properly train them. They'll be in class all day and they'll go through all the progressions of a hunter. They'll teach them all about firearms, and then they'll actually take them out in the field. That'll be a good thing. So if you've never heard of it, Maybe I just gave you a wonderful idea. If you don't want to take the time out because maybe you don't like firearms for whatever reason, that's fine. Go and find a hunter's safety course for your children. Let them take that. I know most of them is usually around 11 to 12, something like that. Just check your state. Well, they can go through and get their hunter's license, but they can take the safety course and they can learn about firearms and they can learn from instructors, professional instructors, to protect themselves. Yeah. Um, but with that being said, we've been on here 45 minutes. This has been another episode of Midnight Madness. I know it was impromptu. Shout out to everybody because it's a worldwide movement. I'm going to let you guys and girls get some sleep because we all got to get up and go to work in a little while. Once again, shout out to Mr. Malone. If you're still alive, if you've gone on to glory, rest your soul. I appreciate all the valuable things that you taught me about the Second Amendment when I was in the 7th and the 8th grade. I've never forgotten them. I've never taken them for granted. And I just wanted to make sure I give you your flowers and do this publicly. Um, that's going to be it, everybody. So until the next time, stay safe, stay armed, stay on high alert, and we out.